Hello and welcome to the member stream. I see we got loyal and friend of the channel, deleted scenes. Thank you for being here. My mouse is going crazy. Hey, there's Daryl Brewer. Good to see you. Good to see you. I want to thank all of my members, and I'm a dot. Oh shoot, I'm a dot. I'm a dot. That means I need to change my avatar. Hang on. There's that one. Yeah, we'll go with old school Jedi. There we go. Hail words and pictures. I'm doing all right. I'm doing all right, Daryl. Doing quite all right. So I want to thank all my members uh, for supporting me for so long. Um, Lester's the Skeptic Tank. Hey, welcome to the channel membership. Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. Uh, well, I want to thank Deleted Scenes has been a faithful uh, channel member for 15 months now. Thank you very much. And then following behind him is Bird of Prey 5 at 13 months. Kapla Bird, wherever you may be. Hope you're okay and hope you got your heater fixed. Daryl Brewer, I know you've been quite a member longer. You might have had a gap, but I know you have probably more than 9 months. But I want to thank, especially to you, uh, and and then, of course, for 9 months, words and pictures. Thank you. Uh, your awesome brother warrior and Mike Moran, been a channel member for 6 months. And then fan of the channel, Rhonda. I hope you're out there, Rhonda. I hope if you don't catch this, you'll catch the replay. You've been a strong supporter here, and I want to thank you for that. And one of the newest members, some of our Kimberly McCarthy is joined about a month ago, and behind her is Sci-Fi Mombi. So thank you. You don't know how much you help this channel continue to go on and bring you the content that I do. I really want to work on my content. I want to bring better content to you guys. I'm gonna probably be doing more movie reviews and more watches. I think words and pictures you brought up maybe making the action theater a regular thing on Thursday. So awesome. The words and pictures with his 9 months rebel. 9 months and I'm about to have a channel, baby. That's awesome. Awesome words and pictures. It's been about a year that Daryl's been following me. Just joining 7 to 11 to get your Prime delivery. Yeah. Well, Oh, yeah. So anyway, I was gonna be one of the new things that I'm probably gonna be doing that I can make happen. The Action Theater on Thursdays at an early time for all you East Coasters, and then East Coasters and those in the middle, and then on um also equitable time for you guys across the pond. I really appreciate you being over there and coming to my channel. And I just found out that if any of you watched the Walking Dead series, I'm excited and thrilled that we are gonna get the Rick and Michonne series in February. So when that breaks, the day, probably the night, I will be doing a stream. I will give my review, non spoiler review. Then I'll go into the not then the spoilers for that, and we'll monitor the entire run of the Rick and Michonne. Um, and it's called "We Are the Ones Who Live." We're the ones that live. Hail, Lady V. Good to see you. I want to invite you guys up here now. Maybe you can help me give me some ideas, and maybe I can produce some content for you that you would like to see here. I'm gonna put that in the chat and open it up. No, no, not that one. And now that is pinned, the StreamYard link. Anybody wants to join me, you may do that now. It's always good to see you. And I always really like when I get new subscribers. It's just a tricky pickle on this YouTube. There's so many channels out there, so much to watch, so much content, and I want to bring you the best content possible. Mean, I've got the system that will push everything now, and I've got the gear and the software. So, and welcome, Deleted Scenes. How are you doing on this Tuesday evening?
Fair to partly cloudy. How about yourself, Bill?
It's windy out. It
Yeah,
scattered showers throughout the week. I don't know if there's no rain in sight, so not now, but it certainly is windy out there.
yeah, it's been a mess here today.
Mm. I see we have the Padawannabe in the chat. It's okay. I opened it up to public because I didn't want to shut out those who aren't members. There's no need for that. I mean, what what am I trying to say? What am I trying to say? I want to open it up just for everybody who is subscribed. And maybe down the line we can get. Maybe as the channel continues to grow, we'll get more members. And, certainly going to be doing more of these member streams, but it will always be open to everybody because I don't like to block people out. Yeah. There's no wind up here in here, the Queen Creek area. Oh, yeah, it's a nice. Uh, this time of year get kind of nice weather. You can certainly golf Go out and golf 18 holes and in shorts and be fine. Maybe shorts, maybe sweater. I don't know. Most of the fellas I know who come from Canada, they'll have a secondary home in Arizona, and like they'll just go out and golf, and then some of them are even crazy enough to get in the pool. Lady Mist, hail to you, Lady Mist.
Hello.
It's great to see you. But yeah, I want to. If any of those who follow The Walking Dead, I will. I am really. I'm thrilled, and I'm gonna do a play-by-play, week by episode, and breakdown on the Rick and Michonne Walking Dead spinoff. The one that we've been waiting. That thing was announced 3 years, and we're getting it February 24th. There's a brief trailer on the YouTube. It's like only 36 seconds long, but that's one I've definitely been waiting for because it's more or less the continuation of Rick's story. Did you ever watch The Walking Dead deleted scenes?
Some of it. I lost track of it kind of early on in season 7, and I never went back.
Yeah.
But I might, it's out there.
Yeah.
And the original comic is still out there. And you can always catch up.
Yeah. I've been I turned my with not a whole lot to watch. I've been turned myself back to watching For All Mankind, and I'm really enjoying that series right now. That's pretty good.
Right on.
Words and Picture said he watched a few Walking Dead and enjoyed them. Yeah. I'm just getting caught up on Fear the Walking Dead, and now that season's over, or series at its series finale. Haven't watched it through to the end yet. I'm not quite there. I'm like maybe 4 or 3 episodes till the end. What was that old black and white budget zombie film? The Night of the Living Dead. George Romero's Night of the Living Dead?
He says where they're mainly in a house. So, yeah, that's most likely it.
Yeah.
Daryl says, I'm currently torturing myself by going through the Enterprise series. Oof.
I thought that was when I watched it, I don't think I only watched the early episodes of the first season. There's so much Star Trek content to watch, especially if you haven't watched it. I'm talking about the good, the better Star Trek, not the crummy ones that you hear about on the tube, the ones that I did, however, watch the first complete season of Lower Decks. I never went back to it. I don't know why. I guess busy with other things. You know how life can be. Yeah. In the music.
Yeah, he didn't like the intro music. Some people don't.
To which one?
Enterprise.
Enterprise.
Yeah.
That's funny. That I get sometimes on karaoke. I get asked to sing the Fear of the Heart song.
Mhm.
A lot of people, a lot of the hardcore Star Trek fans love when that song gets sung. It's Faith of the Heart, but yeah,
Mhm.
Rod Stewart. But I guess there was a shorter version for the actual TV show. Yeah, yeah. For those of you, I was talking about glossing over earlier, but yes, starting this Thursday at 1 p.m. Mountain. What is that? Was it Central Eastern time? 2 p.m. Was it 2 p.m.
It's 2 p.m.
Eastern?
Central, and it'll be 3 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah, and we'll be doing. Then this is what debatable in the movie. They pronounced his name Koshai. Now, are we saying it wrong? Because we both called it Shisu.
Sisu is the name of the film. I'm trying to remember the character name. I think it was Tormy or something was his last name.
Mm-hmm.
I have to go back and watch. It's not like they refer to any of the characters by name in that film at all, but and Sisu is, I think, like a Finnish word for like courage or not giving up or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is ultimately the point of the film. But we'll get to it when we watch it.
Yeah. Words and Pictures says that's 8 p.m. Greenwich. What how do you pronounce that?
Greenwich Mean Time.
Greenwich Mean Time. That's what I was going to say. I didn't want to make a mistake. Panamani has the lyrics to the "It's been a long road." Yeah. How you doing, Panamani? It's always good to see you. So let me ask you, members, what other than the content that I've already been doing, what would you like to see more or less of, or what what other things would you like to see come out of the Jedi Build channel? Put your questions or answers in the chat.
Well, I'm definitely glad to see that you're considering bringing action theater back as a regular thing for sure. And obviously, when it comes to movies, I definitely want to hear your opinion as much as anyone. So I'm glad that you're going back to that. Words and Pictures says he likes to watch along shows. He's always there
Cool.
during Western Cinema Presents. I keep wanting to say Western Cinema Sunday for some reason,
Yeah.
but yeah. Sisu is untranslatable, but basically determination, guts, hardiness, courage, and willpower are suitable words in English. Thanks, Google.
Yep.
Yeah.
If you guys have not seen it, you'll be in for a treat come Thursday. It's kind of a break in between if those who watch sports. Thursday is always a good day for you. That's well. I'm glad to know it. Words and pictures. Glad to know it. So I'm really excited about the actually the prospect of getting out there. If I don't get it to see this opening week, I am probably going to see it within a week or two of the Napoleon film, and
Mhm.
I will be going to see it on the biggest screen available. Uh,
Yeah, I'm planning to see that one myself. I don't know if I'm going to have time for any of the IMAX shows or not,
mhm.
because the way they're doing it here is very weird. Now, in my town, there are two remaining movie theaters. There's the Regal and there's the Cinemark, and I'm the closest to the Regal, so I always go there. And I have the Regal Unlimited card, where basically it's one payment a month, and you can get in and see whatever you want for that month. And the way they have Napoleon set up, at least between now and Thanksgiving, is there's one IMAX showing per day, but they're at different times.
Hmm.
And then there's like 5 or 6, standard screen showings. And then Friday, it's out of IMAX and it goes down to 4 showings a day, which is weird, but yeah, it's what it is.
Right on.
Mhm.
Oh God! The last time I think the last time I got out to the movie theater to actually see a movie was back in August. It was either August or July. It's been a moment. It just hasn't for me. It just hasn't been a whole lot to view, movie wise.
Mhm.
It's always that's what it's always fun because they do have they'll have like older films showing on certain days.
Mhm.
You go by, but those are certain times that you've got to go there to see it. Because I don't got no small chain theater or cinema. Mine's are all the big chains. I got AMC and I've got Harkins, and that Harkins is actually the closest to me. You do enjoy the reviews for the cinema directly after you've watched them film this on feeling so excited. Yeah, thank you. Words. Well, I'm going to try to bring more of that. Definitely the newer ones I'll be checking out and try to do a non-spoiler and spoiler
Mhm.
review. But so be on the lookout for I'll do a preliminary before on the way to the theater, and then out of the theater quick review, and then a further deep dive after I view the film. All right. Take care, Padawanami. Good to
Take care,
see you.
Padawan.
Thanks for being here. We'll see you later. Hope you can join us for some karaoke on Wednesday night. Definitely going. We're going to do a karaoke show this Wednesday, and it will be. I'm putting on the table Christmas songs. If anybody wants to sing Christmas songs, they can sing. If you want to sing 50s, you can sing 50s. You want to sing 40s, sing 40s. If you want to sing 60s, sing 60s. If you want to sing 70s, and so on by the decades. But Christmas is now on the table. Christmas songs are now on the table. It's the season, officially. How are you doing, Lady Miss? It's always good to see you here. One of those days you have to set up and join in again. That would be great. We'd love to have you. Hey, Zombie Box Reviews. Good to see you. How are you doing this fine evening? Well, that's what I have on the docket. Wednesday night we'll be doing some karaoke again, and Thursday we'll be doing the action theater with presenting Sisu. Good time for all. I may broadcast a stream on Friday. Then, of course, Saturday will be after hours karaoke. And then Sunday with the Western Cinema presents the Guns of the Magnificent Seven. You got something coming up tonight, don't you, Deleted Scenes?
I do. I have the latest episode of my show Spark live from Sparkwood 21. It is a retrospective of the Twin Peaks television series, and I will be joined by Troy Pacelli, Netters Network, and Aged Boomer. So if you're new to the world of Twin Peaks, or if you would like to see it again, there will be a Cosme link up, and you can watch the show along with us. And of course, Thursday, I will be joining Bill for the Sisu watch party. And Friday night at 7:30, I will be joining Big Al Presents for a special Friday night edition of Films with Friends. And we are going to be watching Sorceress from 1982.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then, of course, there are my usual programs, the Weekend Update, which will be on Thursday night, probably around 11:30 or 11:45. Stay tuned for details. Unscripted, which is Sunday nights at 8, and The Other Side of Midnight, which is 12:05 a.m. So.
Cool.
Yep. Plus, I'm planning a few things behind the scenes, so
yeah, we're going to be doing Matt getting up on doing we talked about doing the thing on the shirt stop or GameStop. GameStop.
Yes.
GameStop. Oops.
Is this something that we can talk about, or?
Yes, we absolutely.
Oh, okay. Now, as some of you might be aware, there was a movie that came out earlier this year that you can now stream called Dumb Money.
Yep.
And it's all about the the situation with GameStop, and Bill can go into a little bit more detail about that. And he's seen the movie. I have not seen it yet. I'm hoping to get to it, and we're going to do a watch party. Then we're going to review the film, and then we are going to go into kind of the true life story of what happened and where the real people ended up.
Yeah. We don't know what date yet. We haven't set a date yet, but
No,
we'll figure that out. Yeah.
You know, and I know I've brought this up a number of times that Bill and I were going to review Last Voyage of the Demeter.
Yes. We definitely need to get to that.
We have pushed it back because I haven't gotten around to watching the movie yet. It was on my, and it still is on my most anticipated movies of the year list. So I had intended to see it in theaters day one, and I never got around to it. mainly because in my town it pretty much left the theaters. I don't even think it played a whole week. It was gone pretty quickly, and I didn't get to it. And so now that it's available on VOD, I'm planning on sitting down and giving it. In fact, the Blu-ray is out already and has been for a few weeks now. So it was a pretty quick theater to VOD to Blu-ray turnaround.
All right. Well, we'll try to be here, Daryl. Dill says he's got to step out, got to go get the kids.
Oh, of course.
Maybe we'll try. We'll do our best. We'll do our best. There's no promises there. Maybe we can find something to talk about. But
we definitely have Last Voyage of the Demeter to do.
Yep.
We definitely have the Dumb Money show that we're going to do. And so we definitely have stuff coming up. I've got a couple of ideas for things. I'm going to be doing, I'm talking to another YouTuber about doing a spoiler review of Thanksgiving.
Hey, Lester,
Hello,
welcome.
Lester.
Hello, guys. How are you all doing?
Good.
Well,
How are you doing?
Can't complain. I'm on my quote Friday because I have tomorrow up to Friday off, so it'll be an interesting Monday to see if I can still do my job. But can't complain about the 4 days off.
Yeah.
Or however many days I'll have. So there's that.
Are you gonna have the traditional Thanksgiving dinner, or?
Oh yeah, I'm sure. My friend usually has me tag along at his folks or his sisters, and they'll usually have the traditional Thanksgiving meal: the turkey, mashed potato, pie. Can't complain about that. Even growing up in a American Filipino home, we had that every Thanksgiving with some traditional Filipino dishes. So it's always been a part of my life. Just typical American Thanksgiving meals.
Cool. Do you have a favorite dish or favorite Thanksgiving fixin'?
Well, let's see. I think I was taken to stuffing. Stuffing was my weakness. If they did it well and they did it right, sometimes you just had the stuffing on the side with everything else you had. So just something how my family friends did the stuffing, that's what I usually gravitated towards. And I'm sure if I go to my friend's sisters, I'm pretty sure they'll have some form of stuffing there.
Yeah. My favorite is always the green bean casserole and the mashed potatoes, but I love the turkey too. I love the turkey. And My mom makes a good sweet potato casserole that's really good.
Nice.
Those are some of my favorite Thanksgiving fixins. Now I won't. I'm not going home for uh, Thanksgiving, but I will get that probably around Christmas time. We usually have that either on Christmas or on Christmas night or something. How about you, Deleted Scenes? You have any favorite Thanksgiving fixings that you
Well,
like?
I was always fond of stovetop stuffing myself. Yeah.
Can't go wrong with that.
But as for this year, I didn't really have anything special planned.
Yeah, I usually pick up uh, the Thanksgiving fixings from Safeway. They put a nice like dinner for two or four. With all the fixings, you get the turkey and the mashed potatoes and everything for like I think it's like $40, 40 or 50. I don't know. Prices are always changing, so I hope to get that again this year.
Nice.
Probably be heading to the market sometime tomorrow before karaoke to get it. I already got some eggnog. I
I
love
mean,
the eggnog.
was it busy when you went, or do you anticipate it being pretty people busy?
I don't know. Usually, if we pick the right time, it should be okay. But it's this week being the holiday. Probably be
Hmm.
pretty crazy. Crazy as most places are. Not going anywhere Friday. Not going anywhere Thursday. I'll just be on here and on the tube and my channel and other people's channels.
I don't know if you guys picked it up, but is it true that a lot of these stores, and I think I might have seen one store, they're kind of downscaling the whole Black Friday phenomenon. But I do find it intriguing, at least for the NFL. They decided to have a game on Black Friday, which I think, okay, I commend their, I know what you would call it, their adventurism in terms of, oh, okay, people might stay home for Black Friday. But that's one thing I picked up. At least one store is deciding to either do their Black Friday stuff leading up to Thanksgiving so that you can actually have a relaxing Black Friday. But I remember when that started being a thing, Black Friday itself, where people would be
Yeah.
camping. But I do find it intriguing. I do find it intriguing about that.
Well, I've worked retail, so it's pretty much crazy on Thanksgiving and pretty much crazy the next day,
Mm.
especially 6 a.m. in the morning. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I did that once, and I think I did that twice, if I remember correctly. And I said to myself, never again. And I think
Yeah.
after that, that's when I put in my walking papers at Office Depot because I just wasn't going to do that again. Just you know, uh, not that I didn't, not that I minded retail work. I respected what it taught me.
Mm-hmm.
I respected what it asked of me, but it seemed like no, it seemed like from the top that they think of customer experience and customer service being like person to person, but I also think you have to think about it on the back end where you actually have to put products where they're supposed to be so that they don't misinterpret the bin label saying this is on sale when it's not the product they picked up that's on sale, but some other product. So just little things like that, and that's one of the angst I had working retail is that you wanted to give a customer a good shopping experience, but that goes two ways, or that should go two ways. But
Yeah.
more often it's about the interpersonal interaction, which is fine, but put products where they're supposed to be so there's no confusion and people wonder why there's arguments about I thought this was on sale. Well, not that product, but the other product. So, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's getting. I imagine it's probably tougher on folks this year with like things being so prices being so high on like just general groceries and gas, and and there's so much online shopping now. I mean, you have Cyber Monday, but you have all those sales and those prices you can usually get online
Right.
early. So it's becoming less and less, uh, unless there's certain places have certain sales just geared for that, you know, Friday that
Right.
they open the doors, But what I've been noticing over the years, it's more and more that you can get the same stuff online, or you don't have to go to the store on to get those sales. Like if you can go on Saturday and get the same
Right.
sale price if they're, especially if they're have multiple stuff, but
Right.
I think like with Walmart, it uh, they'll have certain items that are really really marked down, that are like crazy,
Yep.
and that's what people go for, like big TVs or little, for this, you know like a 32-inch TV probably be like $60,
Yeah, that's
10
about
feet,
right.
I don't know what they go for. I'm just guessing,
Well, I do find the dynamics a little interesting in that having worked at a .com in the before we hit 2010, and it's funny how the pandemic kind of changed retail to a degree, but it's like, why aren't people, and I know people like fear the loss of retail, but it's like, well, isn't there another way to look at it? Because when I worked at the .com, we had the opportunity if people wanted to pick up their product from us, they could do that and would have their order ready. But it somehow took some weird event happening a few years ago, which changed the thinking of retailers. Like, yeah, we'll call pickups. Like, what a novel concept. I mean, the right.com's had it all along. And it's almost like, why do we have to always put things in opposition against each other? Can we not learn from each other? You know what I mean? S- I don't know. That's
yeah,
what I've noticed. I don't know about you two, but I know people talk about the self checkout. It's like,
yeah. Well, that's like, it's like, who works anymore? They're all these retail stores have come accustomed to putting more and more of those self checkout lanes there. It's like,
yeah, and
I,
I
I, I my preference is to have somebody scan it because I don't like to bag all my stuff. It's like,
no, I get it. I get it. And it's an interesting dynamic given what Oregon is going through with the. I think there's you could do self-service gasoline finally, but you still have the service stations or the people that will provide will pump your gas for you.
mhm.
Um, but I do find that interesting that you got to sacrifice one for the other. I don't know if it has to be that way. You know what I mean? There may be an inevitability, but I think two can coexist. I look at the local Safeway where you have a limited checkout space, and you still have cashiers. because I think cashier, as thankless a duty as that is, it teaches you a few things, especially if you're in
Yeah.
the closing. If you're in the closing crew. Yeah. And deleted scenes, please chime in if you can. Don't mean to monopolize the stream.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I
Yeah.
can actually sit back this time. I, I've been looking at Twitter and I'm gone for 7 fucking hours and everything goes to
Yeah.
hell apparently.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, yes, Kronos. No singing.
No singing. This
No
is
singing.
not a karaoke stream.
No.
How you
I
doing,
will remember
Kronos?
Kathleen one more time. No. Anyway, where were we?
Oh,
Shit.
just getting your 2 cents on if you wanted to put them in about, the whole thing about retail and how things have changed over the last 15 years.
Well,
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, when it comes to most of the brick and mortar stores, unless it's something that it's some sort of an emergency and I need it right away, I don't tend to go
Yeah.
into them anymore.
Mm.
For the most
Mhm.
part, yeah, with me, I don't go out very many places, period, anymore. And whenever I do, you all pretty much find out about it here, So, there's not really much to me, I just you guys kind of know everything, but yeah, I'm just I don't need to go out and get a big screen TV. The one I have is working just fine. I don't care if it's 4K or not. I don't need it.
Yeah.
I don't need a CD player.
Hmm. Mhm.
Because
Right.
most of the you got like the 4K machines can play those, and
Right.
since apparently vinyl seems to be making a comeback, which to be
Yeah.
honest, I'm kind of happy about.
Oh.
Now I got to go out and get a record player again. I do have to get
Yeah.
that. But there are places I can go. This is another one that's kind of weird, but it's part of
Mhm.
what I want to talk about when it comes to retail. Is they just opened a shop in my town that is a furniture and record store.
Oh, okay.
The furniture store is in the front, and the records are in the back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it is.
Welcome,
Oh.
Cody Guy.
Yes, hello. Good to see you.
Yep.
No,
Sing something. Yeah.
send me money. Okay. But yeah, I mean, the thing that I usually go out and buy are usually 4Ks, 4K discs
Yeah.
or Blu-rays or something. But since, they're getting rid of them. Target is no longer
Yeah.
carrying them. Walmart's selection is complete crap, or at
Mm.
least the one in my town is.
Mm.
They're
And
even tough to come by at Best Buy.
and Best Buy is going to be closing them out
Yeah.
this summer.
Yeah, they're
So,
phasing those out. Yep.
so we're going to have to go. And I hate to name drop, but we're going to have to go to Amazon. We're going
That's
to have
where
to go. We're going to have to go to Vinegar Syndrome. We're going to have to find alternate places. Just go online and order them.
right.
Yeah. I buy most of my stuff off from Amazon nowadays anyway.
Yeah, as much as it pains me to do that, it's where I go, and I go through eBay. It's all about if the price is right. And
Mhm.
I have found, especially since I do have a region-free drive, I can kind of wheel and deal, so I don't have to always rely on the um, rely on the American outlets. So if I find something that the UK, which I found out on the Arrow Media site, they they have two they have their store set up for different regions, right? So the UK one has a Blu-ray or a 4K I've been meaning to get, whereas it's not, at least last I checked, it wasn't listed in the American site, but it was in the UK site. So that would be the 4K for Way of the Dragon, and I'm still waiting for that to be shipped to me, by the way, but at least it's there. At least it's telling me that I can order it, which I did. But that means I can, if I need to, I can go to a foreign site like a UK site, and I'll get the 4K I need to get, instead of just relying on the American site. Um, but I'm lucky to find some media that I've been able to get my hands on, especially eBay, especially if I have the time to scour all the offerings. But uh, that's kind of where we've been pushed into, because a lot of these brick and mortars, for whatever reason, they make those decisions whether to stop continuing the carrying or the stocking of DVD, 4K, whatever. So you just got to find another way to get it. But thankfully, we have the charity shops or thrift shops, which do provide some opportunities to get some physical media, because while everyone's kind of tossing those aside, that means it's an opportunity for us to pick them up. So I would say, I guess in the public eye, physical media can be dead, but thankfully for the shops like the thrift stores, they will continue to have people who will give those up. So if you don't want them, we'll gladly pick them up for you. You know, find them a home, because yeah, that's where I'm at with that. So
Another thing I was thinking about doing on my channel, now Wrestler Germ does Saturday morning cartoons, but I'm
oh yeah,
thinking about doing my own Saturday morning cartoons here, which I'll program it to go before Wrestler
okay,
Germ's Saturday
okay,
morning cartoons. And
right on.
I'm gonna try to play the older, like Looney Tunes and,
Okay,
and like Felix the Cat and Popeye, and maybe I'll find a few other rare gems to put on the Saturday morning cartoons.
right on. Yeah, w- it's funny how, as when I was getting older, and technology started becoming, especially the internet anyway, started becoming more commonplace, and broadband internet became more accessible. Um, it's almost like a whole paradigm shift happened, where back in the day we had both. We
Hmm.
understood that the internet was a luxury,
Yeah.
that because we had slower internet for a lot of people, that we couldn't exactly do the games, we couldn't exactly do all the things we do now. So we understood it to be more utility than, well, I don't know what I would call it, but it's become less a utility than it, and more of a, what would you call it, entertainment, or I guess content consumption would be more accurate. But it's something where, bec- especially with the DVR generation, which I often have spoken about lately, is we've marketers don't know how to market to little kids apparently anymore. From
No.
that's at least what I've noticed. That before, I still talk about the Crossfire commercials and a lot of those questions being asked me. Go, well, take a look at the Crossfire commercial. Even though the commercial was kind of funky and kind of dorky, I was laughing my head off every time, and it made me think about going with, hey, I might want to get a Crossfire one of these days, or we're not being taught. The kids aren't being taught how to play with toys. And plus with the DVR generation, a lot of commercials are skipped, and it's also because there aren't that many good commercials anymore. And I mean, believe it or not, I think there were some times where I wished a certain commercial would show up during our favorite show. Can't wait for that commercial. Perish
Hmm.
the thought. Anyway, but no, I appreciate you doing that. Look into offering that.
Yeah.
We can stand to use more Saturday morning cartoons
Yeah.
because at least for me it was a form of escape. I don't want to
Yeah.
get into the point of escapism, but sometimes you need to get your cares away,
Yeah.
and an easy way to do that is watch good cartoons.
Yeah. Yeah. True that. True that. I think a lot of us are Kronos. I'm 51 and I still consider myself a kid at heart. Cloth the Raven.
Evermore.
Never
You don't.
mind.
Yeah. Well, I've been like a cord cutter for like seems like 7 or 8 years now. It seems it's like all my content comes through the internet, and it's on all them pay services that It's
Right.
just sometimes you gotta say, oh well, I've got to cut like this and this.
Yeah. Definitely. I mean, I think going back to the whole DVR generation, you don't have the FOMO you once had.
Yeah.
I often use the example of every Saturday morning. Speaking of Saturday morning cartoons, we couldn't wait. We had to be there when X-Men aired that Saturday morning. The '90s animated series. For some people, like someone reminded me, like the theme song. Oh yeah, that theme song still has some kick to it. you, you know what I mean? So you didn't want to miss it. You wanted to be there to listen to that theme song. And yeah, we could program VCRs, but they're still not as easy as what you were able to program nowadays. Yeah, it's gotten so much easier in my mind to program a recording. But
Yeah.
back in the day, nope. Recording was still a luxury, and you only had 3 slots to do it.
Yeah, I remember back in the day using would get those extra long VHS tapes to have like 6 to 8 hours of
Oh
content
yeah.
on
Oh yeah.
that fill up that whole VHS tape, and then
Oh yeah.
you'd have it.
Oh, and heaven forbid you got the wrong VHS and you overwrote that. Oh, I would get grief from everybody in my family, whether it was my brother, my sisters, or my parents. It's like, what are you doing? What were you doing? Why did you? It's very easy. You have to be careful. Like, we even tried to, like, even if it was something where my parents said, no, you can't overwrite this, and we look for the tab where you can undo the right lock or something. I think it was right. Like there are some cassettes you can actually put a right lock on it. Right.
Kronos puts laser disc. My dad actually had a laser disc, and I went out and bought 2 films. I bought Star Trek: The Wrath of Khan,
Mm-hmm.
and I bought Mortal Kombat.
Oh wow, that was on Laserdisc too.
Yeah, I had
Did-
it on. I have it on. It's still at in my parents wherever he has it at his house somewhere.
Nice. No. Yeah, and it's funny. I think I don't know what my parents did with it. I don't think they threw away all the tech. My mom likes to hoard stuff, so I don't know what they did with the Laserdisc player. I think it's still within that roster of players that they had, like a Blu-ray player. We even had a VCD player,
Mm-hmm.
all that stuff, but we had all of that. But I remember the reason why my parents got a laser disc because they're big into karaoke.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like if you wanted to do karaoke, you had to get a laser disc, and I don't know how big it really was in Asia, but I would imagine it was huge in Asia. It must have been huge. It must have been insanely huge in Asia because that's where a lot of karaoke's the karaoke disc came from, and you could tell from the bad translation. Some of it was like, "Oh, what are you
Yeah.
trying to say there?" But,
Hey,
yeah, go ahead.
Deleted scenes says, "Hey, you remember when you were? It's hard to come by 4K. You know where I found, well, not necessarily 4K, but Blu-ray. On some rare occasions, I've been to like a Big Lots or what's the other? There's another big chain store. I've gone in. I think. Well, I found anyway. I went into Big Lots and I found like a bunch of Blu-rays for like $5 to $3, and they were really some really decent Blu-rays, you know.
Okay.
So I actually picked up most of my Star Trek library from Big Lots
Yeah,
on Blu-ray. Oh,
nice.
for like between $2 and $5.
Hmm.
Yeah. I think the other store that where I've found some good deals on Blu-rays on some rare occasions. Um, what's I can't think of the name of it. It starts with a K. Is it?
Kmart.
No, not
Kmart.
Kmart. No, not because those are no more. Not Kmart. It's another big chain here in Arizona. Well, they're everywhere, but yeah, the clothing store, but they also they
Kohl's.
sell
Kohl's.
all. Kohl's is one.
Yeah.
And maybe it was Ross.
Oh,
Ross
okay.
also. But I found on both places on some rare occasions that I've been in there, I did find some rare Blu-rays that you could pick up for a couple, under $10. Not
Yeah. Yeah.
pretty good, Kronos is quoting Rathacon, buried alive, buried alive. You did get it wrong. You're still with us. Deleted scenes.
I am still here.
Okay.
Okay.
No, but it's been interesting just listening on some of the streams. Deleted scenes has been on mainly the physical media show,
Mm-hmm.
and it's good to get some insights because the discussion about scans and the source of I don't know the exact term, but they talk about the 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 scan or the copy or
hmm
because it's easy for a company to put something on a disc and label it 4K, but maybe deleted scenes can speak more to this. But the quality of the 4K may not be worth the purchase of the 4K itself. So you might be
hmm
better off with a standard Blu-ray or even the DVD. Y- Am I
Well,
making sense there? Deleted.
yeah. Um, I think it really depends. When you get to Greg and especially to Tom, they are kind of the experts at that, and they know what to look
Right.
for.
Right.
You
Right.
know, and they may see something in it that I don't, because when
Right.
there's a phrase and they bring it up often,
Yeah.
DMR or something like that, or
Mhm.
something along those lines. I have no idea what the hell that is. You know, but they say that's a problem in 4K discs. You know,
Mm,
um, I what I've seen, and I don't have a really extensive collection necessarily,
mm.
you
Okay.
know, but I just have like these. Here I can maybe even show you guys. Hold on, let me try to get up.
It's okay. Don't worry yourself.
Oh, I'm elderly. Now, hey folks, Now I've been moving some stuff around in my house because a friend of mine is going to be moving in with me for a bit, so I'm kind of accommodating him and moving some stuff out of the way. So what
Yeah.
I've done is I've taken some old stands that I had sitting upstairs gathering dust, and I put my my 4K discs into them. Now, based on what I've seen, and again, I'm not really an expert with this stuff. For the most part, they look and sound pretty damn good. Every once in a while, I'll find some difference that I didn't notice in a Blu-ray or a DVD. Reservoir Dogs was one, and let me see if I can pull that right here. Now I have the Reservoir Dogs 4K, and I got to be honest with you, I don't like it all that much. Because I think the sound is an issue. Or maybe it was just something that I didn't notice on the other discs before.
Mm-hmm.
But there is a point where the dialogue drops out.
Oh.
Now, I don't know if it's just, it doesn't last long, and I don't know if it's just an issue with the disc.
Right.
Or if it was something that they intended, but there are lines of dialogue missing from that movie when I watched it on 4K. That's one thing. Another thing that happens, I've noticed a lot with them, like the Lionsgate 4Ks, is that they will kind of quit mid-play.
Okay.
And you have to shut it off and restart it and hopefully get back to the place where you were. Now, one of the reasons why I switched to 4K in the first place was because a lot of my Blu-ray discs were starting to do that.
Oh.
So I didn't know if it was like issues with the discs or if it was just a player. So I went out, and actually, thanks to Tom and Greg, I was able to pick out a decent 4K player.
Oh, good.
And that's the one that I've been using.
All right.
Now, the first 4K disc that I played was to test it out was Dread, and the same thing happened.
Okay.
Later, Kronos. Take care.
Take care, Kronos. Now, one of the things that I've come to learn about 4K discs from my Lionsgate is that happens.
Ooh.
And although I don't think it's Lionsgate, when I played Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, the same thing happened. So you have to. It's just weird. I don't know if it's just something I'm doing wrong or what, but because I'm like, come on, people, this can't be happening with every disc.
Right.
But
do 4Ks play in a PlayStation 5? I don't even know.
They technically should.
They should.
I would imagine they technically should.
Okay.
I mean, great that you got a
I haven't tried.
PS5.
Yeah.
But I don't see why it wouldn't. Given, wasn't it Sony that was the major pusher behind Blu-ray and thus killing HD DVD? Yeah. So you would imagine.
I've never occurred to me to try. I think I have one or two 4Ks. I don't know.
Yeah.
Most of mine are Blu-rays.
I don't want anybody to misunderstand me. I mean, I've had a couple of issues with, how a couple of 4Ks looked and sounded, or how they played, but it's been mostly kind of a random issues that I'm finding. I don't want to scare people off of 4K who haven't gone into it yet. Now, when Blu-ray started to become a thing, I
Mhm.
wasn't really sold on it
Yeah.
until I saw 2001.
Oh. Okay.
And 2001 classic film. I've seen it many times. I had the
Right.
VHS, but when we upgraded to the Blu-ray and I saw it there, it's like I had never seen that movie before in my life.
Mhm.
I it finally got me. I finally understood why it was the classic that it was all those years, and
Yeah.
the details that I had never noticed before.
Right.
Now when it came to 4K, the disc that did that for me was The Thing,
Oh.
because The Thing, this movie, this 40-year-old movie, I've watched it ever since I was too young to be watching it. And while everybody else is freaking out, I'm like, wow, how did they do that?
Yeah.
Oh, those effects still hold up
his
today. I
his
don't
head
care who you
came
are.
off and
wh-
sprouted
You know,
spider legs and walked away. And you're like, it's
Yeah.
okay.
you gotta be fucking
Fucking
kidding.
Yeah. And yeah, the effects do hold up. And as far as I'm concerned, probably should have gotten the Oscar that year, that or Tron. Um, but yeah, when it came to The Thing, again, a movie I've seen many times. I know it front and back. I could recite the dialogue along with the movies that's going on. I've seen it so many times. And for one thing, there's stuff in it. There's I don't want to say there are entire scenes that are new. It's not that. It's just there are like little bits at the beginning and ending of scenes
Mhm.
that have been added to the 4K edition. So there was that, seeing that little, oh, that's new. That's interesting. I'm glad they put that back in there. But just the quality of it and the
Right.
sound. It was the first time I had seen that movie and I got scared. Because I'm noticing details in the creature itself that I hadn't noticed before because the picture is so clear.
Right.
There's, oh, what is that? Oh, that's an arm where an arm shouldn't be, And it's like, this is actually kind of unpleasant, isn't it?
Yep.
So there's that. To answer Daryl's question, how many of those movies fall into that category of too young to watch? Well, I was definitely too young to be watching The Thing. It didn't scare me or all that because I got wrapped up in the special effects and who was the thing at what time, and Kurt Russell being the coolest motherfucker on the planet,
Mhm.
but and still is, by the way. But so I got so wrapped up in that I kind of forgot to be scared.
Oh.
Another thing, because Alien was like that for me, because again, getting wrapped up in the look of the creature, because in the first Alien, it never looks the same way twice. You see the entire life cycle of the xenomorph from beginning to its end. If it is in fact, well, yeah, it's gone, but the queen alien and Aliens, you don't know if it survived out there on its own or not, but anyway, it's off the ship. But the point is you do get to see the life cycle of the creature, and like I always said, the only actor that I knew was Tom Skerritt, and he's the captain of the ship. He's going to figure out how to kill this thing. You know,
Okay.
he's not going to save everybody,
Okay.
but he'll save some of them. And then halfway through the movie, he's gone. And
Yeah.
then that's when, oh, snap. We're in virgin territory now, because you got to understand, Sigourney Weaver wasn't Sigourney Weaver yet.
Right.
You know, there is no Ripley is going to come to save the day. We don't know who the fuck Ripley even is. You know, it's the second half of that movie when she kind of comes into her own and becomes the character we've come to know. So to go back to the original question before I went off on that tangent, was movies that are too young, category of too young to watch. I should not have been watching Alien, and ordinarily would not have been allowed.
Right.
It's just that, you know, it was 5 o'clock in the morning and I woke up and I turned on the TV and Alien was on, and that's how I saw it, because my parents weren't in the room, you know, and I was an insomniac at a very young age. But so that's how that happened. You know, movies that are too young to watch. I certainly would not have been allowed to watch like Death Wish or I Spit on Your Grave or Cannibal Holocaust or anything like that, obviously. A couple of more recent ones, the Poughkeepsie Tapes is a movie I would not have been allowed to watch as a kid.
I have been trying to find somewhere to watch that. I can't find anywhere to watch that.
You can get the Blu-ray through Amazon. That's how I ultimately got to see it. There is or was at one point, because this is how I saw it the first time. There is a version of the Poughkeepsie Tapes that you can watch for free on YouTube, but it is an edited down version.
Yeah, no, I want to see all of it in its
In
glory.
all its glory.
Here, and I agree, and you should. But here's the thing that's interesting: was I used to listen to this show called the Double Feature Podcast.
Huh.
I don't know if they're still on YouTube. They might be, but they used to be, and now I think it can go on Spotify and listen to it. But they did a show on the Poughkeepsie Tapes, and they basically went through the entire plot of the movie and the backstory, because this was a movie that was supposed to come out in 2007.
I see.
And there were, and I remember this too, the poster was up. The trailer came before just about every movie. They really hit this thing pretty hard as far as advertising was concerned. And then it just disappeared.
Okay.
And it became like this underground, this kind of underground movie that people knew about, you know, but hadn't seen. And in 2014, 7 years
Okay.
later, it did get like a small video release. And the guys on the Double Feature Podcast, they'd seen it, and they did a show on it, and they went through the entire plot, spoilers and all, because that's what they do. It's a spoiler show.
Yeah.
They go into, you know, they don't give away the whole store, but they give away, they give you enough to give you the idea of, you know, where the movie is going.
I see.
So I knew going into that movie what was going to happen.
I see.
And I found this, what I didn't know then but know now, to be this edited down version. And really, and I'll put it this way, and I won't go into much more detail other than this.
Mm-hmm.
The edited down version takes out anything having to do with kids.
Oh.
And I'll just put it that way.
Okay.
Because the killer in this movie does not give a damn who he goes after. And anybody is fair. anybody is fair game.
I see.
So I'd seen this edited down version, and I knew it was going to happen based on what Double Feature had said, and I still got creeped out by it, and that was the edited down version. Now, when you see the full uncut, 100% unadulterated version, it's even more messed up.
Oh,
So yeah, that's a movie that I definitely would not have been allowed to see.
yeah. I find it funny when my parents, because we'd watch movies together, but then they would signal us, "Close your eyes." Okay.
Yeah, that would happen.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. But if I were to, because I think it didn't require my dad to tell me to cover my eyes. I think the earliest memory of a movie I shouldn't have watched was Temple of Doom. That I think everyone knows that scene where the guy's heart gets ripped out. I,
Yeah.
that's the one. It's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have watched that. And then probably some scenes in uh, I think it was Kickboxer, and maybe Bloodsport, but I don't know. I don't think I was the movie watcher I am now, where I think if I find parts of the movie boring, I might go away and do something else. But yeah.
So anyway, yes, Bill, here's my copy. This is what you want to. This is the version you're going to want to look for. This is the uncut version with the original poster art.
Yeah.
And a lot of disc releases don't have the original poster art on them. It's for older films, but this was the original poster art with all of the tapes. And as you see, the killer in the film is quite prolific.
Well, I'm gonna
That's
start my mission to hunt that down.
when it's on the back. And this poor girl, what happens to her during the course of the movie? Up. And that's all I'm going to say. And she married the director after the movie was over, which is kind of weird. Kind of like Camille Keaton marrying Mears Archie after I Spit on Your Grave, which is also weird considering where that movie goes. But yeah, and it is a matter of what a parent, what an individual parent will allow a kid to see. My dad always let me watch Blade Runner, even though that was an R-rated movie, and it's not really an overly explicit film either.
No, it's not. I think it's very very tame, but
yeah,
I've been watching those movies since I was 10 and 9. So
Yeah.
Plus 82.
So that's one. Every once in a while, I would be told, hey, leave during this scene. And then when we call you, you can come back in the room and watch the rest of the movie. And I could get through it okay. But yeah, my parents did monitor, what I watched. And the thing with my dad, for example, was he was never really into horror films. His idea of a good horror movie was like the Universal monster type stuff. He liked that, but when it came to like, Friday the 13th or Freddy or anything like that, it wasn't his thing, So, I kind of came into those movies, kind of relatively late, especially Elm Street. The Friday the 13th movies, when they came to cable, eventually I would see them. But, again, I kind of had to do that, surreptitiously,
Yeah.
Um,
Oh. I remember I would just go spend the night with a friend, and we would watch all them R-rated horror films with Faces of Death. That's where I first showed Faces of Death and Children of the Corn.
Mhm.
Do you know, deleted scenes? Do you know when they're going to release the second sequel to Dune
March 1st,
of 2024?
2024. Yeah. It was supposed to be last week. That was the
Yeah.
original. That was the original release date. It was supposed to go up against the Marvels,
Right.
and I think would have soundly trounced the Marvels, but that's neither here nor there. They actually they had moved it back to like mid or late March, and then a couple of days ago they moved it up 2 weeks, so it's going to be March 1st, and then that's when we're going to get to see it. Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch the first one again. I watched the old one with Kyle MacLachlan in it. I just love that. I don't know why
It's a
some
good one.
people don't like it. It had all the stars in it.
Mhm.
Picard is in it.
He is. Yeah.
Sounds like there's somebody outside blowing the leaves.
Yeah, sorry about that. They're just doing things in my complex. They're just
Yeah, I know. It happens. You guys want to talk about anything else, or do you want to wrap this up?
I don't know. Kind of depends. Does anybody want to hit on any of the news of the day in any way? Or I'm kind of catching up on some things here. Apparently, Kevin Costner is refusing to come back to film Yellowstone.
I thought that was already set in stone that he quit the show.
Well, apparently it might be even more set in stone.
Was it a matter of direction or a matter of costs, budget?
Well,
Like,
my
I think
Go
the
ahead,
show
Ben.
can hold its own without Costner. I mean, I really do like Costner in it, but I think the show will hold its own without him. Love that series.
So
yeah, I
so
guess
that
I'll catch up on. I'll catch up on it because I've heard good things. It's just there are things I like, and it's not a matter of not liking Yellowstone or liking it. It's just I've delved enough in the content I do consume or the shows I do watch. So
Yeah,
it's like there's so many shows.
it's a matter of finding the time to sit down and watch all of this stuff. Bill and I were talking earlier about this last voyage of the I can't say it. The last voyage of the Demeter. Yes, and we've been talking about reviewing that movie back before it even came out, and I haven't gotten to it yet. So. And Fletcher went and was kind enough to make a thumbnail up for us and everything. And I still haven't gotten to it, and so that's one thing.
All right, we'll do it. We'll do it within the next week or two.
We should, yeah. And there's that. And I started out watching Terminal List and I never finished it. And I started watching Tulsa King and I never finished it. It's just anymore when it comes to series. It's like I get like about halfway through the season, and then I have to stop, and then I never get back to it.
Right.
Like I
Like,
haven't
whatever-
watched Yellowstone yet. Period. None of it.
So in terms of terminal list of what you might remember, what was your
Mhm.
take of it at that point? Or you didn't get too much into it to have an impression?
I liked it quite a bit.
Good to know.
There are a couple of things in it that I think are a bit telegraphed,
Uh-huh.
but that's just because I know the genre so well. I think that I'm kind of
Right.
starting to figure out the tricks and all the plot, all the plot twists and whatnot. I've been around a while. I know where these things are going to go, but yeah, for the most part, it's pretty good. It's definitely different than anything Chris Pratt has done before.
Right.
He and I don't mean this as like I'm not bashing him in any way. He doesn't fall back on any of his usual shtick. He's definitely this character, and as far as acting wise from him, I think it's the best thing he's done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I finished it. That's the sign of a good show. Is like, yeah, I can take a break, but once the break is done, it's like I want to go back and watch it again. So I ended up binging it, just like I did with Jack Ryan. And it was funny when I was wrapping up the last season of Jack Ryan, I just watched MI7 a week before that, and then I just realized, did I really like MI7 because it was that good, or is it because everything else out there was that bad? And I'm still with that question, because yes, it wasn't a boring movie. It wasn't, it wasn't anything you might find anywhere else in the theater. Like, it was solid, but I wouldn't say it was the greatest thing. And I guess the financial numbers bore that out. Like, I did, and that was the reason why I did a rewatch of all the MIs I could. I still have yet to watch 5 and 6, but I sat through and I survived number 2. I had to get through that. As painstaking as that was, and as boring a movie that was, I realized after watching Jack Ryan that for whatever stinking reason, outside of number 3 up to this point, nothing comes close to the original MI. It's almost like we're going to change that formula like 5, 6, 7 installments later. And the reason why they did 3 was to kind of redeem what happened with part 2, given that A.J. Abrams did direct that one. And you could tell where he does his recycling job, which is what he's known for. I'm like, oh, I see what you did there, JJ. Whatever. And at least there were twists. The other installments, like, you clearly know who the actual bad guy is. At least with part 3, even though it's recycled, you kind of are left wondering.
Well, with 3, I knew. I figured it. I figured it out by who they got to play that character.
Okay.
That guy. Oh, the guy I always want to hit in the face with something hard. Yeah. Yeah.
Deleted scenes. Have you watched Reacher yet?
No. And you think
you need to watch Reacher?
I need to watch. I do need to watch Reacher. I do.
Reacher's a great show.
And it's funny, given that I eventually watched the original Jack Reacher with Cruise, and somehow the actor for the series I think is more believable.
Yeah, that's the problem. That's the problem with Cruise playing Reacher. Cruise is too short and too non-muscular.
Now the thing, and I've only seen the first Reacher movie. I never got around to the second one. Now, I've read the book that the first Cruise movie is based on, and they follow it fairly closely. They don't really stray too far from it. Is he miscast? Yes. Does that mean he's bad in the movie? No.
No, he
No,
plays
no.
Reacher well.
It's a good
He
I'll
does.
give
performance.
that. I'll give that
He,
to him.
the only problem with it is he doesn't look the part.
Right,
The
right.
guy in the series, and he's not 100% the part either, but he's closer certainly than Cruise is. But yeah, it's and I think Cruise is involved with the series as a producer. I think because I think he still owns the rights to it. But
Oh,
and Lee Child, he's the guy who wrote the books, created the
mhm.
character. He even said that hey, when the number one movie star in the world says I want to make your book as my next movie, you don't say no. You do it. Yes sir, go for it. It's all yours.
Right.
And so yeah, I mean that movie's not bad. I really like the movie a lot.
Right,
But
right.
everybody's good. And people hack on Jai Courtney a lot. I think he's really good in that movie, too. But yeah, for as good as he is in the movie, Cruise was miscast. I agree. But that's another thing, to go back to something that you had said earlier, Lester, was that the thing with me is that and I liked MI7. It's not perfect. It's not the best. It's not the best of them, but it's really enjoyable and entertaining, and I like it.
Right.
But the whole thing of people saying, well, you like this movie or that movie because as compared to everything else that's been crap, and my thought on that is no, because my opinion on what makes a good or a bad movie has never changed.
Right.
Even after everything that's happened over the last few years. I will like a movie or hate it based on the merits, or
Right.
and if a movie is not my cup of tea or not. Okay, I'll go into this. Let's take, for example, the Barbie movie,
Okay.
which I wound up seeing because somebody sent me the link for it.
Okay.
And you had a group of people whose opinions I respected saying it wasn't all that bad, and also people that I equally respected saying it was a total piece of crap.
Right.
So I sat down, I watched it. I watched the whole thing straight through.
Okay.
I gave it its due. And I decided that, the people who thought that the movie is a trans allegory, I think it kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
The people who thought the movie was misandrist and anti-male are not entirely wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, the performances themselves were good.
Right.
The production design and the costume design are fantastic. They're well done. It's a good looking movie. It's shot well. It's well made. The music didn't bother me. The leads are good. It was just the messaging of the movie that downgraded it for me. It's a deal where it's like I get to a certain point in the movie, and then the movie just dies for me from there on, and it just becomes this slog to get through.
Mm-hmm.
But even in a movie where I have an issue with the messaging and I can't recommend it, has good
Right.
things in it, you know.
Yeah.
And believe it or not, I have actually seen movies this year that were far worse, you know.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, you know, you got to take every movie for what it is, you know. I'm not recommending Barbie. I don't think anybody should see it. It is an anti-male film, but there are things that are good in it, you know, and actors who are good in it. I can take a movie like MI7 and say, okay, it's not the best of the bunch, you know. I don't know if it's going to be in my top 10 at the end of the year or not, but I thought, hey, go see it in theaters. It's worth seeing up on the big screen, you know. And then you can get, you know, a movie that'll come along and surprise you with how good it is or how much fun it is to watch. You know, it's just a matter of what your personal tastes are and what your own personal rating system kind of is, you know. You know, it is all in the end a matter of opinion.
Yeah.
You know, you can find something good in a movie that sucks, you know. You can you know, you kind of look harder for, you know, you look at independent film and find something that's really good that no one had even heard of, you know.
Right.
So that's why when I do a review, I say to people, don't necessarily go by me. Even if I say don't go to the theaters to see this thing,
Right.
if you want to check it out, go to it. And if
Yep.
you think I'm off base, you know, that's what the comment section is for. Go for it. You
Yep.
know. But that's just the way I see it, you know. You know, you know, the way I look at movies personally hasn't changed.
Right.
You know, because when people say, well, it's all been crap, and I go, it hasn't all been crap.
Right.
You just got to look for it, you know.
Yep.
We can't just automatically say a movie is going to tank for one reason or another because there's subject matter you might not like, or there's an actor in it that you might not like. You know,
Right.
they
Right.
got the whole thing that popped up today with Scream 7. I don't know where the hell they're going to go with that movie now. You just fired your star. You know, what are you gonna, you know? And I'm not going to take a side in that other than to say I think actors need to shut the fuck up and act and stay out of politics, but that's me. You
Yep.
know, that there's your whole problem, you know, right there. And Twitter is just going to Twitter got a Twitter, whether, you know, Elon Musk is there to run it or not. It's going to be what it's going to be. And you know, there is a certain group of people on Twitter who have opinions that I certainly don't agree with, but free speech, you got the right to say them.
Yep. Which, I mean, I know we always talk about a certain objectivity when it comes to standards, but that also depends on the kind of upbringing, formation, however you want to term it. Like, a lot of people have certain criteria based on what they know best, whether that's word of mouth or just something where someone will think about those things. For someone like a retro blasting or myself, I would say more so retro blasting because he went to film school, or at least he went to school to study it. Whereas I had just one film class and one radio class. But even with that, the stuff I learned in the one film class I took that kind of still resonate with me, and just the idea of having watched a lot of movies, a lot of good ones, a lot of crappy ones. So that's where a lot of my basis comes from. And I think there can be a room for like, I think it was termed by one of my profs back in the day. It was an objective perspectivalist, and I know that seems convoluted, but it just means that everyone's perspective will determine their level of the means of their objectivity. That from that perspective, they can understand why someone would say, like in this case, Barbie, because depending on how they grew up with Barbie or how they were exposed to Barbie, that would determine either their love or hate for the film. Because I've seen both arguments, like you. You've seen arguments where lifelong Barbie collectors or longtime Barbie fans, depending on how they grew up with it, they either loved it or they hated it. You know, so that's something you bring up, and the way you build your criteria and how you respect the other's opinion. That's something that seems to be lost in today's society, and there's no room for having a different opinion. And when they do, they get people get attacked for it. Like, just because I don't see it your way, you peg me into a hole that I don't seemingly belong into, but you think I do. So that's something I think you spoke on many levels in your various streams. So that's at least how I've seen it. Jedi Bill?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Do you concur?
Yeah.
Do you concur?
It's amazing what resonates
kidding with
with
that.
you when you learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about the news about the it's funny, like the pundits are kind of I don't know if you call it odds, or they're just a little bit confused or miffed about the moves of one James Gunn about the DC universe. It's like taking a step forward and then taking a step back, and then we learned, at least when I was on listening to Nerdrotic stream, they announced they casted their Jimmy Olsen, or at least they pegged their Jimmy Olsen.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know the name of the person, but apparently he has a good rep in terms of being a good actor and so forth. So there's that, but then there's also the concern about, apparently in the DC world, there's a thing called the Authority, and I am not as versed in the DC lore as I am in the Marvel lore, which at the same time isn't saying much either. But it's interesting.
Yeah,
go ahead.
They both need to make changes at both of those
Sure.
places, because if they're going to keep on producing the same old crap, nobody will be watching. I think Marvel's already there. They've had enough of, like, I'm not gonna, why do I need to go watch this movie? And when I had to watch 3 or 4 different shows.
Oh,
yeah.
Wait, you had to, or are you just repeating the sentiment often about what?
Yeah, no, well, yeah, basically, yeah, that's what it's become. That's the state of Marvel. Don't have to watch shouldn't have to watch a show to have a better feel for the characters in the film you're putting out.
Right. I mean, I don't know if it's, everyone likes to toss and turn between superhero fatigue or is it just bad movies. I just think it's badly written or badly executed, however you want to describe it. But give me a superhero or heroine, not the drug. I'm
gonna go out on a limb. Hero movies would be fine, and audiences will flock to them if they have a great story, good character development, and have kick-ass action in it. That's what you need. It's a recipe. It's a recipe for it.
Do you guys remember Kick-Ass 1. Like, I didn't care. They didn't. I don't think it was pushing an agenda, or even if it tried, I didn't smell it. But it's funny because people tended to like. If correct me if I'm wrong. I know I'm reaching back in the annals of time, but I think Hit Girl was pretty popular among people who watched it,
Mhm.
and it was just they liked the character. They were drawn both to Kick-Ass and Hit Girl, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
It's like I don't mind a strong woman. It's just you write her in such a way that doesn't make it appealing to me. Like I just think about Red Sonja, which I think trying to think who was the one that showed Red Sonja deleted scenes. Was it Big Al Presents or was it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was on
But
that show.
I remember watching Red Sonja as a kid, and I thought, she was easy on the eyes, but it didn't bother me that she was. Yeah, go
It's
ahead.
funny. For years and years and years, I always thought that was a sequel to Conan.
Ah,
It was supposed to be,
ah.
but they
It
didn't have
seemed
the
like
rights.
it
They didn't
seemed
have the
like
rights
it
to
was
Conan.
Arnold playing Conan, but it wasn't.
He basically is. But they didn't have the rights at that point to use Conan in the Red Sonja movie, so they had to basically make up this whole other character. But yeah, forget the fact that everybody's walking around calling him Caladan. Just call him Conan.
Yeah, but that was one movie where it was cool because it showed that at least both can coexist on the screen and both can live off their own merits. I mean, it wasn't a matter of Arnold being the better projection compared to I think it was it Bridget Nielsen?
Bridget Nielsen.
Yeah. But
I would have liked to seen somebody else and cast it as Red Sonja.
Okay.
But
in retrospect, who
it
did you
is what
think?
it was.
In retrospect, I don't know if you thought about it long enough, but who would you think would have been a better fit?
It'd have to be two honest redhead, of course.
Oh.
Yeah, and she'd have to kick ass.
Was there any other redhead during that time though?
Well, technically, Brigitte Nielsen wasn't a redhead either.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a honest, fair question. I'd have to think about it. I mean,
no worries.
What comes to mind is Xena Warrior Princess. Maybe.
Lucy Lawless.
She would be yeah, she would make a good Red Sonja.
Yep. You have no disagreements
off the top of my head, anyway.
Yeah.
That's what I think about.
Yes.
All right. Well, we're just about to the 2-hour mark. I think we.
Wow, it's been that long, huh?
Yeah, I know, right? We can wrap up and tell them about your shows tonight, the lead scenes.
Right.
Again.
Yes. Tonight, in just over 2 hours, will be the next episode of Live from Sparkwood and 21. It is a retrospective of the Twin Peaks television series. And my co-hosts for that program will be Troy Pacelli, Netters Network, and Aged Boomer. We will be watching the show on Cosme, so join in with us and watch along.
Cool. Link it.
Yeah. Will do.
I think I'll be around for that too.
Right on.
Let's
Moving slow.
see.
Working on it.
I will also be putting some gaming on my channel. I'm gonna be ordering a video card to where a video capture card where I can broadcast my gameplay from my PC,
Nice.
and then also you'll see some more PlayStation 5 game broadcast.
Oh, what games do you have on the PS5?
Well, I've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 2. I've got The Quarry. I've got God of War and Ragnarok, and I'll probably be playing. I'm probably going to do the whole run through of Battlefront.
Oh,
Not Battlefront. Jedi, the first Jedi Fallen Order, and then
okay.
I'll do the full. I'll somehow get the full walkthrough of that game
Right
on there, and then go to the sequel, this Jedi Survivor. Or
Oh.
I don't know if I'll get that on my PC. I don't know. I haven't decided yet.
on.
And then I'm going to probably buy that. What's the AMD game? The Star something. I'll probably be playing that one because I'm going to get that one. Yeah. So there'll be different gameplay that
Cool.
they'll be broadcasting and put on there. They'll be at varied times, but they'll be there.
Good deal.
I also have on my game. I've got Fallout Vegas and Fallout 4. So I probably will be playing those games as well
Okay.
on here, and maybe some Friday the 13th on here, the video game.
Now, were all your games purchases, did they contain physical discs, or did you have to download those onto your PS5?
Well, no, I mostly buy the disc, but some of
Okay.
them I have on like the system. When I got the system, it had the Horizon 4, whatever, the newest Horizon, and I still don't comprehend how to play that properly yet. So if I ever get better at it, I might broadcast it. I'll assure you, I'm not the best gamer, but I do like the game. So,
Oh, good deal.
you know,
No, I only ask because of the different things I've gotten with certain research I've done that I don't know if it's true across all the, I guess you could say between the Xbox series consoles and the PlayStation, but keep hearing that they themselves are pushing away from physical media almost to the point they actually want people to start streaming from their consoles, which is kind of backwards. But that's all I'll say about that. But because it only strengthens my resolve to just look at getting retro games, because you have none of that stuff where you have to zone to the mothership, making sure you're validly licensed and things like that.
yeah.
Where you just pop in at least for the retro ones I've been playing, like the Genesis. I don't have to phone a mothership. There's no way to phone a mothership. Just stick the cartridge in, hit power, and start playing. Yeah, so that and then even with some of the PC games I have, I've been trying to find GOG.com has been a good place for me to find DRM free games. So
I want to get that Evil Dead game, and I'll probably be playing that as well because I really like the horror games, of course. That and I just saw a trailer for the Resident Evil game. That one looks the newest one.
That's the one thing I was intrigued when you read off Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I was thinking, I could have sworn there were more installments. Like there was probably a fourth, and they might have had a fifth, sixth, and whatever.
The one I have,
Yeah, go ahead.
it's got both of them. It's got both one and two, and I played it
Wow.
once. I played it once on here.
That's
But
the one thing I've noticed is
it's a fun game.
Yes, because I remember the first Pro Skater back on the regular play. Was it the first PlayStation? That's the one trend I'm noticing is that a lot of these games are quote getting remastered. Like you talk about the Final Fantasy remake.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still not sure how I feel about that. I wish they would have done that as part of their model. So like it's kind of like what Nintendo did when the Super Nintendo did come out, where it was just a revamp of an existing game. And then when you got a Nintendo 64, you saw what they did with Mario Brothers, with Mario 64. And that was probably as innovative a game for the time as much as anybody, because it was a different way to see the Mario world, where you actually were in a 3D environment, because you can pan around and you can see different perspectives. But, you know, nowadays, yeah, go ahead.
There's some, if I can, I have to research what I can get away with on YouTube. But the first Blood Rain game that was on the PlayStation 2, I'm going to try to get that and see what I can get away with on YouTube.
Right.
You know, because I don't think, I mean, there's a lot of just gore. There's no, I gotta kill Nazis. So that's my favorite part of that game. It's the remastered one, so
right on.
I want to play that. I still have the physical media for my PlayStation 2.
Right on.
But I don't have a PlayStation 2, so
I don't know what my brother-in-law did with my Japanese PlayStation 2, but it was one of the white elephant things I gave up because.
I sold mine, and I wish I didn't.
Yeah, well, hopefully my brother-in-law just kept it, and I can just say I don't know if I want to take it back, because the thing with me in games is if I find the right time sucker, I'll be sucked up time-wise, and that's not good for my overall life productivity. You know,
yeah.
As much as I enjoy playing those games, it's just like they take up time.
Well, thank you, Lester, for becoming a new member and joining me on the stream.
No, it's been an honor, and I've been. The one thing I realize is that I'll subscribe to a channel, but I forget to hit the right notification type, because by default YouTube just sticks it as personalized, which means someone has to tag you. But you have to go from personalized to all. Otherwise, I wouldn't get notifications of anything new coming from you.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like, why do you have to make it personalized by default? Why not all? And then you make the decision, I'll personalize it later. It's a little backwards.
And YouTube still gets kind of tricky with that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
So everybody join Deleted Scenes later for Sparkwood. And watch some Twin Peaks.
Oh yeah.
And join us on Thursday for Sisu Action Theater Presents.
Ooh.
And then Wednesday night, some karaoke. For Saturday night, after hours karaoke here. And then Western Cinema on Sunday. And Deleted's Unscripted and The Other Side of Midnight. Check us out. Remember, subscribe, leave a comment. We love the comments, good or bad.
No, they help probably more than
they do really do
more than a sub. Although I appreciate subs, that means you're worth following. But I've at least looked at my numbers, and a lot of my viewers are not subscribed apparently. Anyway, but I digress.
Well, I'm Jedi Bill, and Remember to be excellent to each other. Party on. Be safe out there. Come back later. Watch deleted scenes, Sparkwood and 21. Twin Peaks. And final words, deleted scenes.
I'll go out as I always do. From HQ, our second home office in Arizona, and all points north, south, east, and west. Take care, stay strong, because this is how we win.
Take care, folks. See you later.
Take it easy, y'all.